Coming to you from our broadcast tower on the Tao Heights, this is the Link's Awakening 2019 80% Warpless Tournament here on Speed Gaming. We have a race today between FinalFlame and M-Chan Plays in week 4 of our Swiss rounds. This is the 4th week of the Swiss rounds, and we are going to get down to determining the brackets very, very soon, but we have a little business at hand first between these two runners and a number of other races this week, which we'll talk about later in the broadcast as well. So, hi everyone, I'm Cyclone. I will be joined by Crunchy Lex. He had to BRB for a moment, but he will be joining us in just a moment. And he is going to be helping me call the commentary on this race today. So, we expect the two runners to be getting going in just a moment here. And the typical story of Link's Awakening, for those who are not aware, in case there are any of those people out there, which can very often be the case on a very big channel like this, we have a case where Link is abandoned in the water and is going to wake up on the beach and be saved by a lovely girl who, unfortunately, will not get to see him very much of him over the course of this speed run. So here we are in her house right now. Marin saved us on the beach. And after talking to Marin, we're going to go talk to Taryn, because I don't think you can leave the house without talking to Taryn. He will give you something to protect yourself with, and then we have to go get our sharp stabby thing. And just conveniently, that sharp stabby thing is exactly where we expect it to be since we washed up there. And say hello to Bow. We'll talk to him a little more later. Got that race nice and synced up. Very nice work by our setup back end there. Thank you for that. So we're heading down to the beach right now. Ignoring the lovely Octoroks, who you can't do anything about with just a shield. But you can push spikes aside conveniently, and doing that get you down here, and an owl comes and interrupts us. Annoying owls. And with that, we get to hold up a sword and dance. And just like that, a spike is disintegrated. So now we're going to be trying to collect 10 rupees. They're going to use a rupee duping glitch where you can actually get 2 rupees for one using this glitch. And so far it looks like M-Chan Plays is ahead on the rupee count, up to 6. Now 8-4. And he might be able to finish it here. He does. FinalFlame has a few more to get. M-Chan Plays is going to go straight to the shop, and I'm sure he's going to be more than happy to purchase those lovely bombs that we're going to see in the shop as you walk in here. And, wait, M-Chan, you can't afford that. What are you doing? Can't afford that. He just stole the shovel. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, he's getting himself killed now. Now, this is actually intended. You actually have to be a thief in this game to actually play it quickly, which is kind of funny if you think about it. And, this is the Japanese version, but funny enough, Nintendo of America made it so you have the name Thief after you steal the items. So, it would like to remind you that, hey, you stole stuff. Don't do that. Oh, and now we're going to steal Bo. So this is, again, another normal part of the run. We're going to be done here now. You notice that M-Chan Plays also managed to keep his 10 rupees by saving and quitting as quickly as he did after picking up the bombs. It didn't take the money away from him. He can now use those 10 rupees to play the trendy game down here. We're not after that Yoshi doll in the center, though, and there's a reason we're not after that. Because we're going to be skipping the side quest that involves that Yoshi doll in the center. We want this bag of powder. Let's see if M-Chan Plays gets it. Yes, he managed to snare it. FinalFlame does have his 10 rupees. He is heading down to the trendy game now with his stolen items in tow. He's going to get his own bag of powder. Did FinalFlame get the grab? He did. And M-Chan Plays is heading out of town right now. Again, Crunchx will be joining me in just a moment here. I'm sure he'll be back shortly. FinalFlame going past the chicken and the phone booth and Bow Wow. And we meet the owl in the woods again.
Don't mind me. I'm just looking over your shoulder.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Real sorry about that, folks. I thought I had a bit more time before my guests had to leave. They decided they wanted to head to the airport early, and I wasn't going to not see them off. But I'm here now.
And that's the proper guest thing to do. So we just went through the woods. We skipped the whole side quest of, having to find the mushroom early. So now we've got our key for the dungeon, and we're going to head down to the first dungeon right now. Well, at least M-Chan plays his. He was ahead on the rupees. FinalFlame still has a little work to do.
He's got himself the key now, though, also on his way to Dungeon 1. This run is young. All sorts of things can still happen.
And also, notice the key mechanics. He opened the lock from the side. This gets more and more interesting later. So we'll see an even better use of that later.
Yeah, that's all due to a little subtle trick called wall clipping, which, have you talked about that, Seglin?
I have not talked about that yet because we haven't had a chance to yet. Did you want to, or you want me to?
Oh, I can do this. So basically, any corner, Link can basically push into it and clip a couple of pixels into the wall, which is useful for movement. But the thing is, when you're clipped into the wall, some unusual things can happen. For example, you can insert the key from the wrong side of a keyhole, or you can, well, the second thing will become very obvious here in just a moment, thanks to the Dungeon 1 item, which is one of the most useful items in any 2D Zelda.
It pretty much breaks the game, is the best way to put it. We're going to come to that about one screen from now. As he enters the screen, avoids a couple traps, which would have otherwise killed him. And hey, look at that, we have Rock's Feather. We can jump.
Yeah, the funny thing is Rock's Feather breaks the game in developer-intended ways, but there's also a few non-developer-intended ways. So it turns out, if you clip into a wall, jump against the wall, then jump away from the wall, the game looks at you and says, yes, you are obviously jumping down from higher ground, just like you see M-Chan do right there, and he did what is called a super jump, which allows you to jump over obstacles.
He did not have to use the key on that lock, which means he can save that key as he clips in and jumps again there. That's going to let him clip and jump over these blocks, which you normally can't jump over. And guess what? Use the key, and now you can go fight the mini-boss, and you're almost done.
Yep, also, showcasing the might of the bow right there.
Yep, beat me to it. And hey, look at that. We have one of our most friendly bosses from the Link to the Past era, Moldorm, coming out trying to push you off the platform. M-Chan quickly dispatches it and gets a heart container, and he's off to get his first instrument. We are going to be generally trying to skip the celebration most of these instruments, but this one you cannot skip or you will softlock the game. So we're going to get to see him happily collect the violin.
You know, this instrument is, I should have dug up my manual before this race. This instrument is called the Full Moon Cello, but I don't know. Considering how big it is relative to Link, it's more like the Full Moon Double Bass. Oh no, Flame!
Oh no!
Flame gets knocked into the hole, has to climb back out. This is the big danger of Moldorm, because he's on a really small platform thanks to the Game Boy's limited screen size.
Yeah, Link to the Past, you get a lot more space to work with, whereas here, as you said, the small screen size makes it a little bit harder to work.
But Flame finishes off Dungeon 1, gets himself the cello, on his way now to Dungeon 2, both of them.
And before they can actually go to Dungeon 2, they have a little work to do. I don't know if you noticed on M-Chan's screen, he got contacted by a pair of kids who normally play catch, and, you know, their neighborhood dog got stolen. We have to go rescue the neighborhood dog.
Yeah, you seem to have something in your throat there.
So we're going to skip over the heart piece of shame because, you know, shame. And we're going to enter this cave right here. And this is where Bow Wow is currently located.
Yep, it turns out the Moblins really hate dogs. Don't know why, but here we are. And King Moblin is like, nah, fam, you got to get past me if you want the dog back. And we're like, okay.
You want to fight? Sure.
Yeah, thankfully that old boss chestnut of charge into the wall, then attack. Couple of spin slashes, some normal slashes, 2 rounds, no problem.
Yep, got it, no problem there. So we're going to go in here, and we're going to find our lovely neighborhood Bow Wow.
There he is.
And this is going to be... Now, we're going to be keeping him with us for the entire journey. Yeah, you're not supposed to, but we're going to be doing that.
Yeah, we're never going to go back to Maybe Village again, so honestly, there's no chance to return him. Not to mention, he actually helps us.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, he causes extra lag in a couple of spaces, to be sure, because he's made up of like 5 sprites, but you know what? The good he does outweighs that.
Of course, this assumes he eats, which he finally did, and we are now inside Dungeon 2.
Now, you saw M-Chan throwing away a lot of his extra powder. He's actually trying to get rid of all of his powder here, and that's because after he's done and finishes in Dungeon 2, he's going to be going to go get the mushroom, but the mushroom doesn't even spawn if you already have powder, so he's got to get rid of it.
And that is the only place where powder is used in the game. If there is ever a way found to skip that, I guarantee you that will be taken out. That kind of game will be taken out of the speedrun.
Yeah, there is a boss later on that can only be damaged by powder, but there's a frame-perfect trick we can use to damage it with a sword.
Yeah, we'll look at that later when that comes up. So M-Chan heading through the first locked door here, and is going to push this block aside. Push that block aside. Hey, staircase. Just typical Zelda fare.
Yeah. Now you've been seeing both runners open up their pause menu a whole lot. That's in part due to just the hardware limitations here. Game Boy only had the A and the B buttons, but there are so many different items. You don't have access to 4 face buttons like in Link to the Past, so everything can be mapped, even the sword and the shield, which means that menu routing, knowing when to pause and unpause, minimizing number of times you have to open it up, becomes a big part of saving time over this course of this run. It can save a not insignificant amount of time, minutes, over the course of the run.
Now, we just saw M-Chan Plays do a trick to get the ghosts to go to the edge of the screen and basically despawn themselves. That led M-Chan Plays to be able to get the dungeon item and leave. You notice he's not finishing the dungeon right now. Reason for that is it's quicker to finish it later.
Yep, it's faster later, and not in the way you think either.
No, not in the way you think.
Now M-Chan is going to be on his way over to set the warp point here near Dungeon 4. All you have to do is see it, and it's activated.
So now that warp point is in place, and now he's going to go get his mushroom, and then he's going to save and quit again.
Yeah, thankfully this particular category does allow for saving and quitting, and we are thankful for it. It makes moving around the overworld a lot quicker.
A lot less backtracking, that is for sure.
And there it is.
And you also have to take that death later anyways. That's another good reason for it.
Yeah, you saw M-Chan there actually do an extra save and quit. That's because save and quit menu is useful for skipping text boxes, but it's a little bit precise sometimes. For certain items, you have to actually open and save and quit at certain times, a bit later or a bit earlier, because if you don't, you might not get the item or you might still get the text box. It's something you have to keep track of throughout the game in order to optimize your save and quit usage.
So there's another warp point. M-Chan is routing that warp point in so he can utilize that later as well. And now heading down to... Well, we'll see in a second when he gets there.
So yeah, anyone who's played this game casually knows that Dungeon 3 requires you to get the slime key, but to get the slime key you have to do this entire side quest involving talking to a guy Richard, go to the Canelet Castle, get the leaves. But turns out we can just skip straight to the maze using the mushroom.
Yeah, and as this pit normally is supposed to stop from getting in, but the mushroom trick lets you warp onto the screen anyway, and hello, you get to skip that entire side quest, and you can come here, get this lovely item, and you're out of here.
Yeah, but since the game is still expecting you to get the leaves first, the key looks like a leaf, but we assure you that's the slime key.
Yeah, it looks like you're getting a leaf, but it transforms.
Yeah, while Link is holding up the mushroom, the game doesn't really check that you're standing on solid ground or not, which allows you to get across pits. It's not going to be the last time you see it either.
No, lots of times. And hey, another keyhole warp.
Yeah, more wall clipping. Just Link uses Stretch Armstrong arms to reach around it and shove a golden leaf into the keyhole.
Link uses Stretch. It's super effective.
The door looks at that and says, "I don't want to mess with this guy," and just opens. Ooh, M-Chan getting beat up on the second room here. But he is now into Dungeon 3, the Key Cavern.
You might have to be a little bit more careful here, but he is going to be looking... Oh, half a heart. He is definitely going to be looking for that piece of power. We need to see a piece of power drop here. Takes about 30 enemies or so, I believe. Yeah,
30. He doesn't want to die, though, because aside from, losing time, it's going to reset his piece of power count.
Indeed. And he doesn't want that Guardian Acorn. That will also stop the access to the piece of power.
Yeah, if you have Guardian Acorn active, piece of power will not drop. And in fact, if they drop off the same enemy, piece of power gets overridden. So the Acorn is a big enemy of going fast in Link's Awakening. But it doesn't matter because M-Chan has the piece of power. He deals double damage, he moves faster, and it lets him make that trick right there, Dodongo skip, much easier.
And he gets the hearts he so desperately needs right now. He's back to full health. He has his boots. And he's going to be ramming through here, pushing a block aside. And we're going to be coming through that room again. But going a different direction when we do. And there's the other Dungeon 3 being opened.
M-Chan now making his way directly to the boss. Dungeon 3 is literally intends you to get a whole bunch of keys to open those key blocks, but due to a combination of Dodongo skip and just flock clip right here to get past this one, we skip so much of Dungeon 3.
So speaking of going to the boss, he now goes the different direction I referred to, heads down the staircase, gets past a swamp that does not try to fall. Hey look, Piranha Plants! Mario crossover.
Alright. Now, Piece of Power isn't just good for moving fast, it also makes the Dungeon 3 boss Slime Eye really simple. Because normally after you split him in half, he bounces around the room a whole bunch, but turns out with Piece of Power, 2 hits. So break him apart, 1 each, then bounce off the ceiling, and he lands on your sword, just like that. Done.
It's like an easier version of Cold Stare, which I like easier versions of bosses.
Oh, unfortunately, M-Chan's setting up for the first of the tricks that Cyclone talked about, instrument cutscene skips. The trick is you try to jump on the instrument and pause the exact frame that Link lands and grabs the instrument. If you do, you can open up your menu and then save and quit instead of watching this cutscene. But he did not get it, unfortunately. It's frame perfect. It's really difficult.
Now, this is something that he obviously wants to get because he is ahead. He wants to maintain that lead. So everyone he misses, that's another chance for FinalFlame to get back into the race here. And I think the skipping the cutscene would also skip the owl here. So this is even more time, correct?
I believe it does, because the thing about instrument cutscene skips is it causes anything that would trigger after that dungeon ending to not happen, which is, like Cyclone said, you can't instrument cutscene skip Dungeon 1, otherwise Bow Wow never gets kidnapped.
Exactly. And I think there's another one that we pretty much want to get, otherwise we have a ghost following us after Dungeon 4.
Actually, that one, that one is it's nice, but you don't need to get it because we'll talk about it when we get. I'll talk about it when we get there.
We'll talk about it when we get there because that's the next one.
Yeah. But before then, he's got something. Menchan's got something else to worry about. He needs to do Walrus skip. You remember those bomb triggers that you used to get past the raccoon in the forest? We're gonna do it again, but he's doing a save and quit, which is a move I really like because it's very easy to soft lock here. It's very precise.
I think we've seen it happen too once in this tournament already.
Did. So just bombs on the transition like before. Oh, didn't quite get it.
Didn't work.
There we go.
And somehow that bomb is equivalent to Marin singing, and the walrus wakes up as if Marin was here, and it will vanish off the screen. But we have to leave on perfect timing, or we will either have a situation where we have to do this again, or we will have another character come on the screen, and that will soft lock the game.
And perfect. He got it.
That is perfect. He got it. So now he currently cannot attack anything. So you're going to see the odd scenario of M-Chan committing suicide.
Yeah, because the game still is treating Link as if he's in a cutscene, which means he has no access to start, select A or B unless he dies or transitions. And just taking a death there is the easiest way to do it. FinalFlame, unfortunately, also not getting the ICS in Dungeon 3. Each one of those is a 20-second time save, so Flame is going to be wanting to get as many of those as he can.
20 seconds plus whatever is triggered. So we're in the area where Land Molus normally appears. Do you see a Land Molus?
I see an empty room. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I see an empty room too. I think my notes on this room are wrong.
It's alright. It's an old game. Sometimes, you know, things get lost in translation over time.
Yeah.
It's kind of like reading ancient hieroglyphics or something, except it's a Game Boy game.
Indeed. So now we're going to use some of these lovely transporters that we have. And Bow Wow having a snack while we do our warp.
Bow Wow is a good friend, but he's always hungry. Always. And the good news now is, traditionally the game wants you to go up and around the mountain, but one fun thing about this category is that the out-of-bounds rules are different than Link's Awakening DX, in case you watched our tournament last year. So you can just do what we call a shack jump off this wall, jump onto the ceiling just like that, and just take the rear entrance to get into D4 just like that.
Yeah, just like that, you're in, and that's it. Wall clipping is beautiful, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. So is being able to walk on the ceiling.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the last time you see it either. Hope you all liked it.
You're going to see a lot of it. Now we're going to be using our boots and fidget tail together. This is intended to jump across the pit here.
Alright, someone remarking that that trick does not in fact make getting in D4 easier. Maybe not, but it certainly makes it quicker. And here we are, the first of the... Oh! M-Chan just not even going to try for the dumb jump, just saying, screw that, we're going to blow up the block.
You might be thinking he's ahead. Why waste the time trying something that maybe he's not as comfortable with? That could be it.
Possibly. Or alternatively, some folks do just opt not to go for the dumb jump. You do lose a bomb and an arrow in the process, which are arrows are still kind of valuable at this point, but personal preference, I'd say.
And we have cue ball, and we no longer have cue ball.
Dang it, and for once we actually had a game of pool in a room with water, but not anymore.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. You like having pool with water.
Yeah, so M-Chan now has the flipper. As you saw very clearly on the screen, there's only one. So Link's gonna have to do some creative swimming, but that's alright. He is a resourceful lad. Speaking of resourceful, now he needs to get the Nightmare Key, which is up top. So rather than take that tunnel from those stairs, you can just do a super jump and tink off the P-hat once it's in the air and just jump on right up. Super jumps are so great.
Indeed, they are.
This is the big reason we actually play on 1.0 versions, because in 1.1 and 1.2, super jumps were patched, and the game is so much longer without them.
So we're gonna go swimming and kill a fish, which just seems like a normal day at the beach.
Yep, and that was it. Anglerfish is done. 1 spin attack, 2 bomb arrows. But now it's time for the true final boss of Dungeon 4, the ICS. Oh, M-Chan, a little bit too late on the pause.
Oh my. So the ICSs, we're not having a good time with those today. From those between the two runners, we're 0 for 3 so far on that. It shows how difficult this trick is, even for experienced runners like these two.
Yeah, and to give you an idea of how difficult another idea how difficult it is, we actually had a run earlier in this tournament that could have very easily have been a world record if the runner had gotten just, I think, 2 more ICSs.
Oh my.
So it's a challenging trick even for the very best runners.
So normally after Dungeon 4, you think, okay, so now we're going to go to Dungeon 5, which I believe is where the hook shot is. But we don't need the hook shot. We're just going to skip that. We're going to skip Dungeon 6, and we're going to go somewhere completely different.
Yeah, it turns out now we have all the tools we need to go to Dungeon 8, which has the final item in our trifecta of game-breaking items. But since we're going to be going up into the mountains for Dungeon 8, we might as well do Dungeon 7 at the same time, because it's the most convenient time to do it, because Dungeon 7 is not really that important aside from needing the instrument from it.
So we're going to walk through the mountains, we're going to go through water. Hey, how are you, nice guy?
Alright, now I'm about to come up on one of the most, what's the expression I'm looking for here? One of the most cathartic tricks if you've played Link's Awakening DX. Because in Link's Awakening DX, one of the most difficult tricks is called Rooster Skip. It involves the hook shot, and like multiple things can go wrong beyond your control. In this game, we just do Rooster Skip Skip, as you're going to see M-Chan do here. Some super jumps, walking on the ceiling a bit, and you just get the key. Real easy.
It is easy to miss in this room too, unfortunately, and cause a situation where you basically are dead.
Yeah, because the big nasty thing about that cavern is if you fall in a pit, you don't just spawn at the entrance of the room, you got launched back out into the river, so... Alright, M-Chan on his way to Dungeon 7, FinalFlame gets his Nightmare Key, heading off to face off with Anglerfish. Is he going to get himself some nice sashimi for lunch, or is he going to be sleeping with the fishes? Only time will tell.
Based on the hearts, I'll say the former. There
we go. And yo, we heard you all like mushroom jumps.
Did you say mushroom jumps?
I did, and then M-Chan keeps falling down the pit. That's the thing about mushroom jumps. You have to mash that button and hope you hit it before Link falls down the pit.
I gotta say he does not like mushroom jumps. If he did not want to do the mushroom jump. Looks like FinalFlame did not get the ICS, so we're 0 for 4 between the two runners now.
And hey, now it's time for Bow Wow to... It's now Bow Wow's time to shine. So if M-Chan does this right, he didn't quite get it.
Oh.
Oh, yes, he did. That was a pretty late snack there.
Bow Wow eats the gargoyle. There you go.
Yeah, so basically, if you put the key in the keyhole and there's a sprite on screen, Bow Wow will often just eat that sprite, but it's just a random sprite. It's not an enemy. It doesn't have a value attached, so the game looks for a value to attach and attaches the cutscene to it. So Bow Wow eats the cutscene.
Oh, that was actually funny timing. I like that. So now Link is going to be a demolitions expert. Somehow he manages to get these towers to, or these columns to detonate on command.
Link menaces the tower into collapsing itself by dropping bombs into a hole.
Just like that, he just kills the tower. It works. However you can get a tower down, you get it down.
And just one last pillar here. M-Chan trying to do the bomb trigger on the transition. Having a little bit of trouble.
Yeah. Having a bit of trouble with this one. That's 5 attempts there, 6 attempts.
Yeah, there we go.
Got it.
The big problem is you can't do convenient pause buffering like you do in Link's Awakening DX. It's a little bit trickier to do the transition ones, but... Took M-Chan a few tries, but he did eventually get it.
First try!
First try every time. And FinalFlame doing his Rooster Skip, getting himself the bird key.
Everyone's favorite enemy is the Play the Lotto game.
Oh boy, here we go. It's time for Goomba Surf. The most obnoxious part of D7.
Will we be able to get a Goomba Surf?
Oh, Goomba's not cooperating. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there it is. Yeah,
oh, no.
Just didn't time it right.
Yeah, you have to be, for this one, you have to be clipped into the wall, but only a little bit. You can't be too clipped into the wall, and you have that Goomba hit the top right corner, so you can bounce off of it. And even then, you have to time your super jump just right. So there's so many things that can go wrong with Goomba Surf.
Yeah, even a top player can have trouble with Goomba Surf once in a while.
Now it's time for Evil Eagle, which it turns out,
is evil?
Yeah, and his evil eyebrows are no match for bombs.
Well, to be honest, if I had a bomb in the eye, I'd probably not be happy either.
That's understandable.
Yeah, I can understand his disdain with that. So, fun fact, this will be the last art container we get. We'll explain later.
Alright, M-Chan going for the ICS again, a little bit too late, not getting it. Well, this is unfortunate for M-Chan, but fortunate for FinalFlame, because this does give him a chance to make a comeback.
Is Bow Wow gonna eat the cutscene?
Nope, we're gonna get the rotating tower.
Not cooperating. Bow Wow is not cooperating.
So FinalFlame entering D7 as M-Chan exits on his way to D8, while FinalFlame now has to tackle the remote pillar breaking.
See if he has easier time with this too while he goes through here. Hits the switch. So we're gonna go through the mountains in the meantime, and M-Chan is going to eventually make his way to the upper level. Here he is. And who needs a hook shot? Just run and jump and try to use a mushroom.
Or
hey,
forget to equip the mushroom, as the case may be.
Yep. So now he's going to get back on the platform, and oh, hi, Marin.
Moblins put Marin on the bridge. Normally you'd rescue her because it's the heroic thing to do, but it also takes forever because then Terran shows up, then the owl shows up, and so tragically we must leave her there.
Yeah, Marin, we can stay there. We got a dog in tow. We can't get you right now.
And our punishment for that is this: the room where runs go to die. M-Chan really quick setup though. M-Chan!
That was nicely done.
Oh, that was so clean. That trick is genuinely difficult. That's probably the hardest trick in the entire run.
That's how you make up for missing the first 3 ICSs right there.
Yeah, you can lose minutes in that room if things start going south. Believe me, I've seen it happen. But the shenanigans don't stop yet. M-Chan about to do a trick called Flame Skip right here. No trouble.
Normally need the mirror shield to get through that 3 damage flame, but he gets through no issue.
Yep, thankfully, since you're wall clipped, the knockback, which would prevent you from going past there, not a problem. Alright, FinalFlame took a couple of tries to get the Goomba to cooperate, but he is now on his way to Evil Eagle.
And we're going to allow this turtle to greet us.
We're doing the turtle a favor, because otherwise you'd have to kill it to get into Dungeon 8.
Yep. So here we are in Dungeon 8, and it should be noted again that we're not going to be finishing this right now. But however, there is a very, very important item we need to get here, and this single item is going to be enough to completely break the rest of the game and basically make it look like something you wouldn't expect from a Nintendo production.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting sight to behold.
The key word is interesting. First of all, we're going to use our clip to somehow magically push this block.
That's wall clips in a nutshell. FinalFlame! I think he might have gotten it!
He might have got one.
No! He didn't. Oh, yes, he did! He did!
He did!
FinalFlame getting our first ICS of the race. Very nicely done.
That's how you do it, ICS.
Remember, I thought he might have done it a frame too early, but I was wrong. He did get it.
So we're gonna go through these weird-looking water fireballs, since you know the palette looks like water.
All right, unclip super jump right there to skip Blano, the mini boss, and there it is, the magic rod.
The run will now be officially broken.
I mean, it already was. We're just finding new and creative ways to do it.
Yep.
So here's the fun thing about the magic rod. Unlike the fire rod or ice rod in Link to the Past, there is no magic meter in this game, so basically you can just use it as many times as you want. And here's the other fun thing. If you pause on the same frame you use the magic rod, the game shoots infinite magic, and each of those magic shots is a sprite. So when you have infinite sprites on screen, the game looks at it and says, hang on, we gotta get rid of some of these. And so certain sprites, like, say, mini-bosses or bosses, just don't load.
So that was just an empty room. Yeah, that's normal.
So thanks to the magic rod, you will be seeing, or rather not seeing, a great many things for the rest of the run.
And he accidentally queued it, but actually, I guess that was intended, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's intended. So there's an important distinction to be made here, though. This is a warpless category, which means no wrong warp. That was not actually a wrong warp. It looks like Dungeon 7, but it's not. It's basically an overflow room. And remember we talked earlier about the Dungeon 4 ICS and the Ghost? Well, that's where that room comes into play. Because when you overflow to that particular spot in Dungeon 8, the game looks for another room to put in its place and gets that Dungeon 7 tile. And in that chest just happens to be the level 2 power bracelet, which is the item that prevents the game from spawning the ghost. So if you have the level 2 power bracelet, the ghost will not spawn, which is why it is so important to do that, and several other categories to do Dungeon 6 earlier on.
So now we're going to be heading down to, I believe, Dungeon 6 is next. And we're going to go through the Armos Maze to do that.
Alright, FinalFlame made it into Dungeon 8. Making it through the pit that kills. Looks like he took him a couple of extra mushrooms to get down to that bottom wall, but he made the frame-perfect jump on the first try there. God, I wish my rooms that kill were that consistent.
Well, from what I see, you'll get a chance later this week. By the way, speaking of this week, this is a 1 and 2 matchup. Both runners are 1 and 2 right now. So whoever wins this matchup will go to 2 and 2. What are the ramifications for this match?
Ramifications? I'm not sure. I want to say that I think both of them are already out of contention for the brackets, but I'm not 100% sure.
So, well, I thought 2 and 2 might have included some brackets. I'm not sure the exact level. Maybe we can get a current administrator to confirm that in chat.
There might be a playoff. Unfortunately, my knowledge of the inner workings of Swiss tournaments are tenuous at best. Alright, but M-Chan gets himself the face key, FinalFlame gets himself the magic rod. This race is now double magical. Get your concerns out of here, we're gonna deload them. Oh god, M-Chan having a little bit of a struggle with those bomb fairies, though. Bomb fairies are one of the worst things about the path to D6. Because if they're in your way dropping bombs, they can very easily kill you, and then you go back to the Southern Phase Shrine, losing a whole bunch of time. Alright, here we go. FinalFlame going to deload Cue Ball. While M-Chan makes the Zorlax jump, and now going to deload a cutscene.
Just to quickly confirm, it sounds like there is a tiebreaker for 2 and 2. So whoever wins today moves on to that tiebreaker from the sounds of it.
Alrighty. So that's gonna be a pretty big tiebreaker, though.
It will be, yeah.
Alright, so here's the fun thing about Dungeon 6, friends. If Dungeon 7 was bomb triggers the dungeon, Dungeon 6 is deloading the dungeon. Because thanks to the magic rod, we just deloaded a tile puzzle, we're about to deload some whiz robes, and there's gonna be at least 3 other things we're gonna deload throughout the course of this dungeon.
So we're making our way through this little water dungeon right now. We do have a couple rooms to despawn here. This is not one of them. We're just gonna hop up here instead.
Yeah, and that sequence of super jumps there is actually a little bit trickier than it looks, because you have to use a combination of late and early super jumps in order to be able to get up to that platform. So the super jump is useful, but there's a few more nuances to it than you might initially think. And now, there's hint tiles in Link's Awakening you might remember, like the one you saw right there on M-Chan's screen, but turns out hint tiles can also be deloaded, just like that.
Yep, who needs hints?
We certainly don't, we're speedrunners.
And accidentally getting the, clip the text on the key block, but second try clips through and gets around.
Yep, there's a couple ways to get around that one, but the flock clip is the most common, I'd say.
And we just despawned another room. I think that was a Wizrobe room, was it not?
There's the one with the black hole, and then there's the Wizrobe, so one then the other.
Anyway, we did just get the boss. What boss? He was on lunch break.
Yeah, that room is normally where Facade lives, but Facade is gone. Now, Cyclone mentioned this earlier, and he wasn't joking. Since we don't fight the bosses because we deload them, we also don't get the heart containers, which means no more health increases, and most importantly, no more health refills. So there's only going to be one more health refill between now and the final fight.
Yeah, this is the point of the run where you have to stay on your game and make sure you play at least somewhat healthy. Otherwise, it can cost you some time later on.
Yeah, because with your energy being this many hearts below what you would normally have, the final fight can get a little bit dicey if your energy is not at full.
So we're going to go to the last dungeon we have yet to explore, which is level 5 at this point. And we're going to swim under this little area. We're going to now emerge here. And guess what? You made it through the pass and you're in the dungeon.
Dungeon 5, the Catfish's Maw. So, this is a dungeon that you might remember from your youth as being incredibly annoying because of needing to deal with Master Stalfos to get the hookshot. Well, it turns out we don't need to deal with Master Stalfos at all, because we don't need the hookshot.
It's kind of funny if you think about it, based on Link to the Past, how that was such a required item in Link to the Past, and you couldn't finish without it. Even in Randomizer, here you can just completely ignore it, which is kind of nice, I guess.
Yep, although, honestly, the only reason we can is because we don't have to fight the Dungeon 5 boss, because you do need the hookshot to fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, FinalFlame getting a really quick cutscene despawn D6 there. All right, M-Chan now going to use more Magic Rod shenanigans here so that he doesn't have to fight Master Stalfos. And already on his way to get the Nightmare Key. Unfortunately, you cannot deload Dumb Jumps, and there is another one coming here.
Yeah, Dumb Jumps just sounds so dumb, doesn't it?
Well, we don't call them that because they're fun jumps. No, they're dumb. They're real dumb. A 4-tile jump. Using the wall bounce setup, getting it first try. Real nice. Alright, M-Chan's going to be already on his way to deal with the boss of D5. Deal with is the best way to put it. Flame, likewise, on his way to deal with the boss of D6, having gotten himself the Nightmare Key. So, the thing about the Magic Rod, though, at this point is missing any of the deloads on bosses and having to actually fight the boss is a pretty hefty time loss. But we have seen it happen. It's very easy when you're jumping to get against the screen to accidentally hold the direction a bit too long, so hopefully that doesn't happen to either of our runners today.
So let's see if he's trying to set up the buffer here. He does get it. And now, which method are we going to use here? He's going to use the jump over the pit. Hey, guess what? You fell in.
This is a bit of a tricky jump, honestly.
This is tricky. Yeah, trying to go across far enough so you can try to climb on that left ledge. This time he got it.
There we go.
And now he's trying to despawn again. And, hey, no boss.
Ooh, and Flame! Flame gets another ICS!
M-Chan
so
also
does
gets an
M-Chan.
ICS.
Excellent!
Was that the first ICS that M-Chan had, or do you have one already somewhere?
That is M-Chan's first ICS and FinalFlame's second.
That's what I thought. I want to make sure my count was right on that.
Yep. And Flame, I am not sure where Flame... Oh, Flame is opting to swim all the way out to Martha's Bay to where Dungeon 5 is instead of taking the overland route. A bit of a curious choice, because it is slower.
And say hello to the mermaid. We're not going to be saving her item today.
Yeah, fun fact. In Japanese, it's not a necklace.
Yeah, that's all you need to know.
Yep. M-Chan, that getting the fairy from the tree, that is going to be the last big refill he gets before the end of the game, so he's going to have to keep his energy high from here on out. But now it's time to do cleanup. He's got to finish off the Dungeon 8 and Dungeon 2, and then he'll be on his way to fight the Nightmare.
Yeah, so the reason why we wanted to put off Dungeon 2 till later, we'll talk about that in just a moment, but we're going to be finishing Dungeon 8 right now, stepping into the staircase, and then going right back down the staircase, and eventually despawning, and yeah, Hothead is on vacation. I guess he didn't feel hot today.
Yeah, normally Hothead is the D8 boss, but not today. M-Chan getting the drums.
Like the drums.
Unfortunately, not getting ICS or the ever-popular Wang Boys, so shaking my head a little bit. Shaking my head.
So he's 1 for 6 on ICS. Will he get the 1 for Dungeon 2 when we finish that in just a moment?
Yeah, so now that we have the Magic Rod, you can understand why we waited to finish Dungeon 2. The Dungeon 2 boss is one of the more annoying bosses, even with the quick kill strat.
By the way, Magic Rod, you don't have to wait for Boom Boom Eat the Flowers anymore. You just go right in.
Ooh, M-Chan almost getting M-Chan almost getting an acorn there. That would have been awkward.
That would have been a little awkward.
Alright, FinalFlame about to set up for his dumb jump in the meantime. Let's see how he handles it.
He has to clear this room in the meantime. This room can be one of the most difficult rooms to clear. You have to clear the enemies in a certain order. Have to clear the Full Voice, then the keys, and then the lovely rogue Stalfos here.
Ooh, FinalFlame, I like it. Getting right up against the edge, but about to fall, using the mushroom to salvage the dumb jump. That was real quick thinking from Flame, and I like it a lot.
Very nice. And M-Chan did not get the jump he was looking for there. He's going to go back and try it again after the backup attempt fails. Now he gets through. And now jumping across and...
And there we go.
A very long and annoying boss. So this is why it's quicker. That's normally a very long boss fight. And not doing it while we were here the first time is a huge time save.
Yep. Unfortunately, M-Chan not getting the conch shell ICS, so we get to listen to it just duding along here.
We got to hear a lot of the instruments today, so no complaining for the instrument fans here.
It's true. And with that, M-Chan on his way to the egg. Health looking pretty good, too.
So it's time to crack open an egg and scramble it. As nice as that sounds for breakfast, that's not exactly what it is here.
Alright, Flame finishing up Dungeon 5, getting his marimba, unfortunately not getting the ICS this time.
Meanwhile, M-Chan Plays is now producing his instruments, and we're going to hear music. A comment in chat from Kikiju. M-Chan, no, go back to the library. You have to memorize the layout. This is actually a joke we're going to go into in just a moment here. As he's now going to go into the Windfish Egg, he's going to fall down to the lower level. And normally you have to go to the library to get that route, as I was commented in chat. But if you don't do that, you have to be able to get through here somehow. So there's a default layout, developer planted layout for those who, for some reason, don't go to the library and are able to figure it out, like we have.
Yep, can't just have a null value.
Can't just have every path go nowhere.
Alright, M-Chan gets the bomb trigger to skip the big dialogue before the fight. Now here comes the important trick here. He needs to get the slime to land on his sword in a specific frame. Perfect. If that hadn't worked, he would have been in trouble, because you normally need magic powder to damage the blob.
And now we get to fight Aghanim, and let's see if he does the exploit to get no blue balls.
Yeah, thankfully the manip has been a godsend for this category.
Yeah, otherwise it's a huge game of chance, because you don't have the same setup on Shadow Aghanim like you do in Link to the Past, where you have one guaranteed orb. One blue ball! So, go ahead.
No, I was about to say, unfortunately, he does not get the manip, which means now he's at the mercy of Aghanim's luck, because there is no cap on the number of blue balls Aghanim can give you.
Exactly. That's the point I was trying to make, too. You don't have the 1-3 lightning sequence like you do in Link to the Past. You have whatever Aghanim wants to throw at you, and if it's blue balls, it's blue balls.
He does get the quick kill on Moldorm, though, not letting Moldorm get away. Very nice. Only a couple phases to go.
We have another callback to Link to the Past here with Shadow again and doing its twirling of its staff in the air, but doesn't get very far with that.
Yep. But now it's time for the final phase. Deathel. He's got to give it 16 arrows directly in the eyeball.
And those arms do a hard damage even after it's already being destroyed.
Yeah, so M-Chan's opting to do single jumps to dodge the arms, because it leaves him better position to get the arrows. But it's a little bit, it's definitely tighter to avoid the arms this way.
It's a lot riskier, yeah. And now the arms are out of sync, so he has to be a little more creative with his jumps.
But he gets it.
Get away from the arm. You have a lot of health, but get away from the arm. Whatever you do, there it is.
Alright, FinalFlame, meanwhile, having no trouble getting the Nightmare Key in Dungeon 2, making short work of that little enemy puzzle.
And time is going to be when we fade to white, which is now. That means that we have an official SRL time for M-Chan of 48 minutes and 36 seconds. Get your GGs in chat.
You should, because that's a PB for him.
Yeah, he says in the SRL channel, I'll probably say it when he comes in a second, That he's never been so focused when doing a race before, he says.
Yeah, his old PB was a 49.24, so that's a hefty PB. GG's
And
to
that's
M-Chan.
and that's with all the ICS as well. Imagine if he got all those ICS.
Speaking of which, FinalFlame about to set up for his final ICS. Oh, it was a little bit too soon, unfortunately. So close.
So we get to hear the shell one more time.
We do, and here he is now, M-Chan. Congratulations, GG, both on the win and on the PB.
Thank you.
So, how are you feeling right now?
I've never been so focused while doing a race before.
Yeah, I was noting that you said that. The thing that we noticed is that you were not getting a lot of those ICS skips either. Was that something that was bothering you throughout the run?
Yeah, that was definitely bothering me. I wasn't really watching. I wasn't watching FinalFlame's screen, but I could probably imagine he probably got more than I have because I only got one throughout the run, and I thought he was probably out there to catch up with me. It went with how many ICS I missed.
I think he only had 2, didn't he?
Yeah, he got
Two?
2.
You got 2? Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, you were 3 for 14 between the two of you.
It's a difficult
yeah.
trick.
Yeah, I didn't think I would PB with how many ICS I missed. But everything else throughout the run was really good. I'm really happy with this run.
Yeah, absolutely. You should be. That was a solid
be.
run.
You should be happy about PB. And FinalFlame is going to enter the Windfish Egg himself now. As we were discussing, he played his own round of music. So he is now falling into the pit. And he's going to do the left up, right up, left up route.
Yep, go ahead and remember that Go ahead and remember that, everybody. If you ever manage to get to the egg and haven't done the trading sequence, that path will lead you to victory. All right, here we go. FinalFlame gets his bomb trigger. Now he has to just set up for the quick kill on the blob here.
And will he get it?
Looks good.
Ooh,
Got it.
Yep.
Now, FinalFlame does know the manip here, so let's see if he can get that set up.
Looks like he's on pretty solid pace as far as PB goes for him.
Yeah, his PB is a 54.55, so he
yeah.
definitely could pull a PB here.
That's definitely PB pace. So, from what I understand of the format, M-Chan, you're now 2-2, and that means you're going to qualify for the tiebreaker. How are you feeling going into the tiebreaker phase?
I don't know. I don't really have much thought into it. I just here to play Link's Awakening for the most part.
That makes sense.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm actually like really surprised about how well I've been playing throughout this tournament with how little preparation I've been doing so far in this tournament, like compared to like last year's tournament where like we did 100%. I did a lot of preparation for that last year.
All right, so FinalFlame on to Deathwell had a really strong Nightmare fight up until now. He just has to hit those 16 arrows. Only has 19 though, so he's got to be careful about missing them.
Ooh, yeah, he has to be careful with those shots. I already saw one.
I already missed one.
He's down a shot.
So he's got.
He's gonna take his time.
Yeah, he's playing it safe, doing 3 arrows per round instead of 4. Oh!
Oh, lost another one. There's one left he can miss.
Feeling bold, feeling spicy.
Gonna stop there and take his time. He
Got it.
1 arrow to spare.
And this is going to be a PB of over a minute for FinalFlame here.
Well, we'll get the exact PB, or at least race PB, in just a moment. As he's going to climb the staircase. Fade to white. And we have, indeed, a PB, race PB, by 1 minute and 27 seconds. His official SRL time is 53 minutes and 29 seconds.
Yeah, and that's not just a race PB, that's a PB.
Indeed,
So
really good race.
we got ourselves a good race and a double PB. What more could you ask for in a Link's Awakening race?
Can't complain about a double PB. At least he put his best on the table for the final round of the Swiss. That's the best thing you could do in that situation.
Unquestionably. The names.
What?
M-Chan
is
with the
this?
names.
Votre nom?
Behold the French version Link's Awakening.
Oh, I'm beholding. I'm beholding real hard.
Little tribute to Final there. Let's go, Final.
And
You need to
here
put
he is
that-
now.
We need to put that in French, by the way.
What is let's go in French? Sagaz, are you in chat?
Flame GG and congrats on the PB.
Thanks. What did I walk in on?
French.
I booted up French version LA after I won. And I named my final Let's Go or my file Let's Go Final.
Oh, you named your final? Nice.
He named his Final.
I don't know how that run PB'd, but okay. I'll take it.
I can question for me too. I got 1 out of 7 in ICS.
I'm happy that I
Yeah.
got 2. I think my last run last week I had none. But just so many small mistakes that I was thinking I can't be making these. And
But this shows how the ICS can make a difference for us. We were talking about this throughout the race. This shows how the ICS can make a difference. With all the ICS, this could have been a sub 52 for FinalFlame or even a sub 47 for M-Chan. So these races times with the ICS could be a lot quicker. If you were able to master that trick in this run, you can save a couple minutes easily.
It's still a crapshoot even at the highest level, so it's just
It
kind of
is.
like you hope you get them, and then you just keep going until you get as many as you need to move forward.
And I was really disappointed because I spent several minutes practicing ICS before this race.
I didn't practice
And,
that
like,
at
I've
all.
been
I
getting-
practiced a few other things that worked out.
And my success rate was 90% out of the several minutes I've been practicing ICS.
I mean, I'm pretty sure at least one person in chat is thinking it has something to do with your image, with the filter you were using.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Not a lot of-
I don't think there's
I
anything
did
wrong with
consider doing inverted for this, and I kind of forgot to set it
Oh
up.
god, Flame, no.
that.
I knew if I lost, I'd be out of the tournament, so I was like, well, one last hurrah. So, but at least I PB'd 3 times during the tournament and won a match. I can be happy with that.
Well, that's
there you
good.
go.
That's good. And now just keep working at it. And next tournament, you could be up there with everyone else at the top.
Maybe.
Only time will tell.
Indeed.
Maybe we'll do
many
any
races-
percent ACA next tournament.
Oh
Ooh.
my goodness.
Ooh.
That'd be shorter than the Super Mario Brothers tournament.
Exactly, we gotta one up them.
I assume this is a best of 15, right?
I think it's
How
just
about-
get it once in 15.
How about A Link to the Past, the true 80% category, that 1 minute run?
I think I know
Yeah,
what
sure.
you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll walk away from the tournament happy, considering I came in having never speedrun it before until a couple weeks before the tournament when I learned it, and then ended with a 53.
Yeah, that's really good. You did a good job.
Yeah, can't be mad about that.
Not at
Nothing
all.
wrong at all. So
What do you plan to do after the tournament now?
Speedrun wise, it's a very good question. I don't know. I kind of need to brush up on some old things. There's a part of me that wants to get back into LADX. We'll see how long that sticks around, though. Trying to pull up the leaderboard to see who did I bop, if anybody.
Well, I have the leaderboard up right now. What is it you're looking for?
Hey, I bopped Dragon and Phantom Matt, assuming they'll have updated PBs.
Ooh.
Ooh.
You bought Matt, you're gonna get cursed.
Yeah, you
Please,
Called out
he cursed. He must have cursed me last week. That was my horrible run.
We'll see how that one works
We'll
out.
find out. Anyway, do you have any other questions for them, Crunchy?
Not off the top of my head, but I think I know a question that's on everybody out there's mind.
Go ahead with it.
I think they're wondering, when can we catch more Link's Awakening? And boy, I have an answer for you. We've got so much Link's Awakening this week. Tomorrow, we have three races, and one of them's a double. We have at 10 a.m. Mighty Mouth versus White Wolfos. At 4 p.m., Xander versus Vlak, and Green Tunic versus Node Kaju. All four of them really, really top-notch runners. That's going to be a great one. And at 5 p.m., we have Spice Father versus Serlet Marsupial. That's just tomorrow. We have more races on Thursday, more on Friday, more on Sunday. So much. I don't even want to spend all the time talking about it. We're going to be here for hours. So if you want to...
Let's give a shout out to at least Crunchy Lexus. He has his own race on Friday. That is against Mashy. So that is his race on Friday. If you want to hear Crunchy, who was in the booth with me here today, come back on Friday, watch him on Friday, and you'll be able to see him.
You don't want to see that.
Hey, why not? I signed up for it.
I do.
Oh, God.
We want to see it.
But yes, if you want, not all of them have channels assigned yet, but if you want to know where you can see them, by all means, right below the stream, you can see schedule button. Click that, and it will show you in glorious color when and where you can find all the Link's Awakening once those channels are assigned.
Glorious color and glorious HD, and also to get the schedule completely at this point. And again, I know this is still a link right now, but it's at speedgaming.org/schedule. So you would be able to get to that to see the entire schedule for the entire Speed Gaming channels. And they're nice and highlighted on there. So if they show up for a certain color, it's on this channel, another color, it's on this channel. And usually those channels do get assigned generally the night before. So you're going to have to check literally the night before or the day of in order to see what channel it's going to be on. So make sure you keep an eye on that schedule. If you know when the race is, make sure you check the schedule before then so you know where you need to go to find where that race is.
Mm-hmm. And I know like Speed Gaming has a lot of really awesome tournaments and also a lot of other awesome events going on the channel itself. But I am going to be running Link's Awakening DX for an online marathon called Speedrun to Change the World. I'm going to be running 100% for LADX. So if you want to watch that, it's going to be not this weekend, but next weekend. On the Twitch channel, Speedrun to Change the World.
Oh, very interesting. We'll give that shout out for that. So watch for M-Chan to run LADX on that marathon. I think it said Speedrun to Change the World that's on. So we'll give the shout out for that. And make sure to keep an eye out for him. I'm sure he'll talk about that more on his own channels if you want to follow him. Again, speaking of follow our runners, we'll get the runner links in chat. The runner links, I believe, are exactly what you see on the screen. I'm going to get confirmation of that right here when it comes up. Yes, exactly. FinalFlame and M-Chan. Actually, it's M-Chan338 for his Twitch channel, but FinalFlame is exactly as you see it. So those watching on YouTube as well, twitch.tv/FinalFlame or twitch.tv/M-Chan338. You can hang out with either of these runners, chat with them, and thank them for the wonderful racing they put on here and the wonderful show that they are part of. And meanwhile, my co-commentator Crunchy Lex, also a runner in this tournament, and myself, Cyclone GU. But with that said, before we do wrap up, any last thoughts from either of our runners today?
I guess GG FinalFlame, and congrats on your PB. At this point, you already left, but congrats on your PB and your participation.
I didn't even see that he left, but yes, he did unfortunately leave. So that will be our final runner word then. I want to thank you again for running M-Chan. Good luck in the tiebreakers to come, as we try to narrow down the practice after this week is over. And look forward to seeing what happens in that tiebreak. And with that said, let's go ahead and do a quick shout at the schedule for today. If I can get that to load here, I will go over that with you. There it is. So we do have a speed gaming live from the ESA tournament room coming on right now on the main speed gaming channel. This has been on all day since about 6 o'clock this morning. It looks like it's going until about 7 this evening. So go to the main channel, keep an eye on that today. That's why the main channel wasn't available for most of the races today, because that's on there. So you're going to be able to find that on there today. And we're going to be able to also catch Diddy Kong Racing going on at 8 o'clock tonight. This is a tournament we've seen in the past on Speed Gaming. They're bringing another one up right now, and it looks like it started pretty much today. I see several races today. Some have already passed. So Speed Gaming 2, you'll be able to see some of that Diddy Kong Racing action. There's also some Link to the Past randomizer. This is normal. It's a daily race. Those happen every day, Monday to Friday, twice a day. So you'll be able to catch that at 9 o'clock tonight. It's a miscellaneous category not yet known, or if it has been, it's just not posted yet. And Zelda 2 randomizer also happening tonight. They're having their weekly race. And that happens every week on Wednesday at 9 o'clock. We have some new Super Mario Brothers DS going on as well tonight. That is another very quick speed run, about I want to say about half an hour or so. And that's a run of new Super Mario Brothers on the DS system, the one before the gold coins became, the gold flowers became a thing. So you can catch that tonight. The channel for those last 3 races not yet assigned, so keep an eye on the schedule for that. Those of you watching on our YouTube channel, you will see another race in this tournament following. Most likely it'll either be between Mighty Moth, White Wolfos, or the 4-way race involving Black SR, Node, Green Tunic, Xander, or the race between Spice Father and Terrell P. One of those will be following on our YouTube playlist if you are on our playlist, so stay tuned for that if you are watching. Other than that, we're done here on the live end. Any last thoughts from you, Crunchy, before we wrap?
Make sure to come back tomorrow, because you really want to catch these races. They're going to be real good.
I feel so upset I can't be here tomorrow. I'm going to be gone tomorrow, unfortunately. But I'll have to watch that black one on the replay. That should be a really good one. So make sure you come back and watch tomorrow. Hopefully I'm back in time for that. We'll see. Other than that, I want to wish everyone a great afternoon, a great evening, whatever it is where you are right now, morning in some cases, I guess. And definitely come back tomorrow. Lots of Link's Awakening tomorrow. Come back for that. Make sure to follow against Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6 to catch all the events going on here. And other than that, we're probably going to, because there's nothing else on, we're probably going to host it in the main channel with the ESA live event right now. So make sure you stick around for that and head over to the main channel to watch that as well. So have a great afternoon. Again, that's on the live end, not on YouTube. You'll see another of these races coming up. So have a wonderful afternoon, evening, and until our broadcast tower is back on the Telltale Heights for the next race, see you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good one.
Thanks for having us.